Hello, everyone. I am Kimberly Adams. Welcome back to Make Me Smart, where we make today make sense. Kai is out for spring break, hopefully having a glorious time. But joining me on the show today is the equally glorious Sabri Benishore. Hey, Sabri.
Hi, Kimberly. Yep, I'm Sabri Benishore. Kai, I think, is in Portugal or something, but I know he's having a great time. Yeah. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. It's Wednesday. No, it's Friday, April 4th. Friday. Yeah. Thank God.
That's funny. On Wednesday, you thought it was Monday, and on Friday, you think it's Wednesday. It's okay. It's like that sometimes. Yeah. Anyway, we are here for our weekly happy hour episode. We call it Economics on Tap. We're going to do some news, and we're going to play a game. But first, let's talk drinks. Sabri, what you got?
Okay. I have this thing called ketones. I don't know if you can see that.
So because you blurred your background, we can't see it. You have to turn off your background blur.
Everything. No, if I do that, you're going to see how like devastatingly chaotic what this room is.
Okay.
Well,
anyway,
it's a clear
what's it
liquid.
Called?
All right, it's a clear liquid. It's called ketones. And my friend gave it to me. The idea is like when you have run out of all of your carbs in your body, like if you're on a keto diet and you have like no sugar whatsoever, you've used everything up. The last resort your body has is another form of energy storage called a ketone. It's like the keto diet, you know? So instead of starving yourself of carbs, you just drink this. And the benefit is that this is all allegedly, okay? This is what my friend tells me, okay? Your brain goes into sort of like kind of semi-survival mode, and it makes you like think more clearly, makes you kind of just get everything together. It's a little bit like coffee, but not as jittery.
So are you saying it's going to make you smarter?
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it does. I mean, I didn't know what day it was, so that's not going well for it. But anyway, I do love this stuff. I take it every time I have to host the morning show because it makes me like perk up, and I love it. What about you? What are you drinking?
So I saw this really fun article in the Washington Post about, how tariffs are going to affect various drinks that we enjoy, particularly various cocktails. And it says, see, which cocktails and wines could get pricier with Trump's tariffs. And it breaks it down. It's a really cool infographic. And so our colleague Ellen Rolfes, who writes the newsletter, was like, oh, so you're going to have a tariff-proof cocktail today? And I don't know. So what I have is some sparkling sake that I got. When I was on my time off, I took a road trip down to Charlottesville to the North American Sake Brewery, where they actually brew sake in Charlottesville from rice they get from Arkansas. And this is one of the things that they sell. And so the rice for the sake is from Arkansas. And I got this from Virginia. Now, I don't know where the aluminum comes from, and so that could be the thing, because we've got all those steel and aluminum tariffs. So it's really hard to get, with just how widespread the tariffs are, a totally tariff-proof drink at this point, because even if your like ingredients and the drink itself is domestic, like is the can it's in, is the bottle it's in, who knows? Anyway, I got my dragon fruit punch sparkling sake.
Well, that sounds delicious. That actually ties in with one of my news items.
But we got to hear everybody else's drinks first. We got to see drinking in the
Just
chat.
remind me to. I'll tie it back later.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Scott is drinking a mojito in Miami, and lots of folks are saying hi, Sabri. Lynn is having orange spice tea, which sounds delicious. Christopher with a hazy IPA from Alpine Beer Company. Margie Klisch with boxed Cabernet, which I'm a big fan of. David Lemo with Guinness. And let's see. I don't know how to say this, Denim Wizard. Hot Pure Rose Tea. And let's see. Sarah Himmelin is drinking Cafe a lot. So, and Chris Patrick having peach tea. I like all of the non-alcoholic drinks. That's fantastic. Oh, Hank L makes a good point. Having iced water, never tariffed ever, even though still subject to a water bill, I guess. For now. For now.
For now.
All right, what were you going to say about your news item?
Well, so the Okay, my news item was there's a story in the New York Times citing Jerome Powell, Fed Chair Jerome Powell, who came out and said, okay, wow, these tariffs are actually a lot worse than everyone thought. And that is going to have exaggerated effects on inflation and slower growth. And
Mhm.
I'll give you, I don't think we need a ton of examples on how this works for inflation, but I wanted to give you a little window into some of what they call the sort of dead weight effect of these tariffs on prices. Like
Okay.
basically what I'm saying is a totally pointless consequence in the form of inflation. So I was talking to some folks who monitor the chemicals industry. Okay.
Okay.
So we make a lot of plastics here. We make a lot of chemicals, a lot of important industrial ingredients. And one of the key components that they use to make, polyethylene and all this other, and PVC and all this other stuff is benzene. Okay. Now
Mhm.
now we make it here, and we also get a
Mhm.
ton from South Korea. The it is produced as a byproduct of refining gasoline.
Mhm.
It's like it's a byproduct.
Mhm.
So all these chemical producers are going to now pay a bunch more for their benzene from South Korea.
Mhm.
And if the idea is we're going to reshore everything, you're not going to reshore benzene production. Do you know why? Because it's a byproduct. So no gas refiner is going to build a whole new gasoline refining plant just to make the byproduct. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like this is just an input becoming more expensive for no reason.
That brings up another really interesting point, though, because I have to imagine there are some environmental consequences to manufacturing benzene. And is that actually something you want to reshore? And whose community, should it be
Mm.
manufactured in, kept in? Because a lot of the reasons, and this is kind of grimy when you think about it, that we outsourced some of the production of some of these things that we no longer make in the United States is because we didn't like the environmental consequences of it. And we are allowing other countries to kind of eat that, which is also not a great thing. But, I guess if we bring it back, we will maybe do it in a safer way so that other people in other countries are not experiencing such things, I guess.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I
Who
mean,
knows?
for this one, we already do it. Because we have gasoline refining places here. It's just
Hmm.
that like we don't have enough to feed, to feed our appetite for, because we're supplying these things to ourselves and the rest of the world. So we have to get some from elsewhere. We can't make up the difference. And I forgot to mention the whole damn darn point here was that inside your can of sake is a lining of plastic, and we make in the US a lot of plastics. And
Thanks,
that was my failed
I
attempt to
guess.
connect that to your drink.
So you're telling me I'm drinking plastic. Thank you. Appreciate that.
It's just like very thin layer.
Whatever. Okay. Well, because we can't move on from tariffs because they're taking over everything, I have
Oh,
two
I know.
tariff-related stories related to Congress because we give a lot of grief to Congress on this show about Congress not doing anything and kind of rolling over and outsourcing its power to the administration. So there are efforts in Congress to actually try to claw back some of its authority. In the area of tariffs. So, story in Reuters as well as in Politico about Republicans sorry, there's a bipartisan measure in the Senate with Republican Senator Chuck Grassley and Democratic Senator Maria Cantwell, the Trade Review Act of 2025, which would require Congress to sign off on new tariffs within 60 days of their imposition or automatically block their enforcement. And they are openly saying that Congress needs to reclaim its tariff making authority. And then today, and everyone was like, oh, this isn't going to go anywhere in the House. The House Republicans are fully on board with Trump. They're not going to do anything. Well, Nebraska Representative Don Bacon said he plans, this is in Politico, to introduce a companion bill to the bipartisan Senate legislation and confirmed those plans to Politico as the market losses continue to pile up and rattle Republicans on Capitol Hill. And so there is an effort in both the House and the Senate to reclaim those tariff making authorities. And so, I'm really trying on the show to like give people actionable things to do in a moment when it feels like you can't do anything. You can let your member of Congress know how that you would like them to behave in reaction to this bill. That is something that you can do. So there you go.
You know, so I heard that, and you know what my
Hmm.
thought was? So there was a reason why they we gave the president some amount of centralized control around tariffs, and it is
Hmm.
because every product has a constituency, and
Hmm.
every area will have workers in this industry or that industry, and it essentially became negotiating trade agreements to bring down tariffs. Over the years they became less and less effective and more paralyzed as sort of more cooks got in the kitchen and you got down into more and more products to talk about. And I think in the past, part of the reason why we have asymmetric tariffs in the first place is because they were negotiated. So that we'd be like,
Hmm.
hey, can you like lower your tariffs on our cars that we actually export? And yes, fine, keep the high tariffs on our like unicycles. Like it's fine. They'll get over it. Just give us the car tariff. It's this political battle between different constituencies over who wants protection, who can give up protection, who's going to quietly be sold up the river, um, and you can't get anything done. And
Mm.
so, ironically, if this did come to pass, it may be actually harder in the future to unwind these tariffs, potentially, because you are going to have so many cooks in the kitchen. That's at least something that I think about. Maybe I could be wrong, but that's just
Well, I
where
mean,
my
and this
thinking
is
was.
just looking at the summary in Reuters. It's a different strategy, it seems, of like looking at it rather than saying that only Congress can initiate trade agreements. It's saying that Congress has to sign off on new tariffs. And so that still
Mm,
like kind of leaves the power with the executive, but gives Congress sort of the right of refusal and makes it a little
mm,
bit proactive. But it could still get messy because that's what happens. It'll be interesting because the I don't think the House legislation has been introduced yet. It'd be fascinating to kind of dig into the details of it, of how, given that historical precedent, how they plan to move around that. And Chuck Grassley is a pretty savvy legislator. I have to imagine he's given some thought to that, and I'm sure Maria Cantwell is also. Anyway, that is the news. We are going to get to some fun stuff because I know it has been quite the week. I hope y'all aren't looking at your retirement accounts because it's just that's no
oh.
good for anybody. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Drew is going to join us for a round of half full, half empty. All right, and we're back, and we are joined by the amazing Drew Jostad for a round of our favorite game, half full, half empty. Take it away, Drew.
All right, first up, are you half full or half empty on H&M introducing AI-generated clothing models?
Huh, I hadn't heard this story, but it
The,
makes sense.
the
I
plan
can.
is to use what it calls digital twins, so it's like a real model in the original. They have plenty of photos of a certain model to the point where they
Mm-hmm.
can clone that person in future images.
Mm, I'm gonna go half empty because I want the models to remain employed, and I worry about that affecting their income. I mean, we already see versions of this online. I mean, I'm sure everybody's been shopping online where you're like searching for a bedspread and it's like the same bedroom shot with just like a different image of a bedspread in like all the different colors. And that's not, they didn't really like make the bed and spread it out. Um, so I feel like we're already getting versions of this. I don't know. So many jobs are going to get taken by AI. Let the models keep their jobs. I'm going to go half empty, just on general principle.
I'm in 100% agreement. I would like models to be employed as well. Save the models.
Save the models, exactly.
All right, moving on. We have a place called The View in New York and one called Polaris in Atlanta. These are two examples of revolving restaurants that have recently opened in the last few years. Are you half full or half empty on rotating restaurants coming back around?
I am all the way full on rotating restaurants. I saw this story and it made me smile in the moment. I love a good revolving restaurant. Actually, the very first time I ever went out to Marketplace headquarters in LA, the Westin Bonaventure had a rotating restaurant at the top, and I went and I sat there and like had cocktails, and I was so happy. And I love rotating restaurants. They bring me great joy.
How fast do they rotate?
Not very. It's pretty slow. Like slow enough so that like the servers can like walk on and off the rotating part and like not
Mm.
get tripped up. Um yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of love for the rotating restaurants in the chat. There's one in Honolulu apparently. Yeah. I let's see. Yeah, I do love a
The
rotating
article says
restaurant.
8 feet per minute for one of them.
8
Is
feet
it?
per minute. Nice. Have you
Oh,
ever been
okay.
in a rotating restaurant, Sabri?
I have not. I have not. I have a deep, I don't know if fear is the right word, but I don't, admit, I don't understand them, and therefore I fear them.
Okay. They're very nostalgic, I think. It's like a very 80s type thing, but I think they're a lot of fun. I mean, I don't know, but I also love a good gimmick at a restaurant or bar. So that's me.
Yeah.
What's
No,
next?
I could be half-full on that. I'm sure it's fun with some Dramamine.
Next up, Art of Finance is a startup that's pitching investment advice using AI chatbots that employ Gen Z slang. Are you half full or half empty?
Oh no.
I saw that story. Um, I'm torn on this one. What do you think, Sabri?
I mean, it's good that they're making financial advice accessible to everyone where they are and that they're doing that. And I am glad that young people will be getting financial advice in a way that they can digest and accept. But I will just say, I was at some bar or some party in Miami like last fall, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what vortex I was in, but everyone was using the fullest Gen Z slang. Period. This at the end of every sentence, like the words that I can't remember, and it made me feel so old. And I was like, you know, you ever see that meme with Steve Buscemi like dressed up as like a high schooler, and he was like, "Hello, fellow kids.
Yes.
I too am interested in bands and music." That's how I felt, and I was like, it's what I yeah didn't, but glad for this app. That's great, and at least yeah, no, that's good for them.
Jared Morrison said in the chat, bussin' no cap.
Yeah, yeah, that's yes,
And I don't know
indeed.
what that means. I don't know what it means. Anyway, because I don't trust the data going into it at this point, into a lot of these apps that are meant to provide a service using AI, I'm still very skeptical of like the
Mm,
inputs at this point. So it's a tentative half empty. I also am glad for programs that try to increase financial inclusion. But, you know, as Ben in the chat mentions, there's so much nuance to financial and investment advising. I can't see how AI can do it appropriately. Maybe
mm.
it'll get there, but I'd be surprised if it was there now. So that's what I
Mm,
got. What's the next one,
yeah, that's a
Drew?
good point.
Are you half full or half empty on Americans rushing to stock up on stuff in advance of the tariffs?
Oh yeah,
Have you bought anything, Sabri?
yeah, I have. I bought
What'd you
like
get?
$1,000 worth of pottery supplies. Um, yeah, um, yes, that are going to be so much more, but these specific supplies are going to be so much more expensive. I was also going to get a bunch of bismuth metal, but I forgot to, and it's probably too late now. And then I got, oh, this was painful. This was really painful, but I got a new iPhone. I was going to not. I do not like replacing my iPhone, like, at all. I try and wait for years and years and years. But I bit the bullet, and it was so expensive, and my wallet hurt, and my bank account hurt, and I physically hurt. But I was like, better hurt this much now than hurt a lot. Oh my God, because I interviewed someone, a tech analyst, for a story,
For
and
me,
he was like,
because I asked you.
oh yeah, and no, and he was like, oh yeah, your iPhones are a $1,400 iPhone is going to be $1,000 iPhone is going to become $1,400. A $1,400 iPhone is going to become like 20 something thousand, $2,200, whatever. And he said that, I was like, oh my God. So yes, I have stocked up, and I guess I'm going to be
Rima
saving
bought a
money,
car.
but oh my God. Well, yeah, that you have to. The cars are going to get super, super dinged. Used cars have already started to go up a ton in price. How about
So I'm
you?
looking in the chat. Well, I bought like laundry detergent, and like I actually started going around and looking at my house, and there's actually not all that much stuff that I use regularly that I go through quickly that I think
Mm-hmm.
is imported. I'm a little annoyed that I didn't order this tea that I like, but I
Mm.
did do a little Costco run, but I didn't get all that much. But I'm looking in the chat here. Um, Peg says they bought food, water, and pet food. Ryan Simmons bought a case of my favorite scotch to beat the tariffs.
Good for him.
Evil Genius says cupboard half full, wallet half empty.
Yeah.
Jared said went nuts at Sam's Club, bought a new computer and a bunch of canned chicken.
Yeah.
Somebody
Oh,
ordered
chicken.
new running
Okay.
walking shoes because like their
Mm.
regular ones are made in Vietnam, which makes sense.
Yes. I heard footwear is
Um,
super exposed.
yeah, and then electronics that Carrie got. Someone says they're half empty on hoarding. Yeah, I'm also half empty on hoarding.
Mm. Me too, but
Bill
my
says
closet would
he
like to differ.
definitely did as soon as he heard the tariff news. I'm good on most consumables for the next 1.5 to 2 years. And then Bill replaced a couple of appliances. Oh, and then Tragic Magic Show bought a new car today. I mean, I wonder
Wow.
what
Good.
that's going to do to the
Congrats.
retail sales numbers. Like, there's going to be this blockbuster retail sales report coming out from
Mm-hmm.
all this stockpiling, and that is going to be said, like, see, the economy is fine. People are still spending. And we're all going to be like, yeah, but
Yeah. No,
anyway, okay.
that showed up in the
What?
import export data
Oh, did
already.
it?
The
Oh, yeah.
stockpiling. Mm-hmm.
And the warehouse
And
numbers as well.
and I mean, I'm gonna say this from my experience, but also extrapolate it. Uh, where there's this bump, but I can tell you, after spending that much money trying to get ahead of tariffs, I'm not going to be spending money like later in the year. And the concern around the general malaise and concern around rising prices and the impact of tariffs is going to hurt spending dramatically, and that is baked into a lot of models. And it is one other reason why the economic effects of these tariffs are going to be so devastating.
Yeah, I definitely have dialed back on like going out to restaurants, ordering delivery already, and I definitely anticipate myself like spending a lot less on, discretionary items moving forward,
Yeah.
just to be cautious because,
Mm-hmm.
it looks a little
Mm-hmm.
dicey out there. All right, Drew, is it
Mm-hmm.
time for the poll?
It is.
All right, everybody in the chat, get ready. And if you don't mind, while you're voting, you can also give us a little thumbs up button. We'd like that too.
With the season finale coming on Sunday, are you half full or half empty on this season of The White Lotus?
Has
Are you
anyone seen
watching
my
the show, Sabri?
lorazepam? I wouldn't.
I'm
I
guessing
just
that's
need
a
my
yes.
lorazepam to watch it.
I'm guessing that's one of the characters.
Yeah. Oh my God! Do you not watch it?
I do not watch it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, you need to watch it. It's insane.
Okay.
And it's very a slow burn this season, is an especially slow burn. But it's really good. You know, it's because none of the characters are good. They're all messed up in one way or another. I mean, maybe there's one or two characters who are nice, who you always root for, but everyone has like is a crystallization of the human condition in that they have severe flaws that make you really irritated with them, but they also earn your deep sympathy as well because they really are like real. And then there's yeah, it's good.
Like the only thing I know about this show is apparently it had to have like massive security this year because one of the K-pop stars from Blackpink, I guess, has a role in it, and so they had to do like big security for the show. Now I have to look and see which one it is.
Oh, I didn't know
Um, let's see,
about
Blackpink,
that.
White Lotus. That would be the way that I'm in. Yeah, Blackpink's Lisa was in White Lotus, and yeah, apparently that meant that they had to have like huge security on set because she's like one of the most famous people in the world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's why she
Lisa.
looked so familiar.
So are you half full or half empty on the last season of White Lotus? On this season of White Lotus, the
This
season
season,
finale.
half full. Can't wait.
Okay, I feel like I shouldn't weigh in. Okay, the people in the chat are telling me that it's Lisa who plays Mook. Are you familiar with that
Mook.
character?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
the
like the love interest of the really sweet security guard who's like adorable. But
Aw.
you also wonder if like she really should be, if she's, right for him. You're rooting for him, but you're also like, I don't know if she's good for you.
I love everyone like just learning about Blackpink in the chat. It's like up there with BTS in terms of world fame of groups. If you know who BTS is. Anyway, I'm gonna vote with Sabri and say half full. And so this season of White Lotus poll results: half empty, 66%. Guess a lot of people didn't like it. Half full, 33% with 117 votes.
Y'all are going to change your vote. You just need to take a little bit of lorazepam. That's what you need.
Okay, get me out of here. I love all the
Yeah.
strong feelings about this Mook character in the chat. Deborah says she's using him, and Ben says she doesn't deserve him. He's the only honest character on the show. Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Got it.
100%.
Anyway, that is it for us today. Hopefully you don't feel like we're using you. Make Me Smart is going to be back on Monday. In the meantime, please keep sending us your questions, your comments, your suggestions to 508-UB-SMART, which is where you can leave a voicemail. You can also email us at makemesmart@marketplace.org.
Make Me Smart is produced by Courtney Bergseeker. Our intern is Zoha Mullick. Today's episode was engineered by Charlton Thorpe.
And a special happy birthday to Courtney Bergseeker. I hope you're enjoying your day off. Yay, Courtney! She's awesome. And the team behind our Friday game, also an awesome team. Emily McCune, Jamila Huxtable, and Antoinette Brock. Marissa Cabrera is our senior producer. Bridget Bodner is the director of podcasts. And Francesca Levy is the executive director of digital and on demand. I hope Courtney's doing something awesome for her birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yay!
Piper, no.